Hello and welcome to the tutorial regarding how to make controllers for your constraint systems on the rig. The easiest way to do this is to simply go into nurbs primitives and read in the simplest of these, which is a circle. Once you have that circle, of course, and you've brought up your outliner, you can rename it to hand controller or whatever you'd like. You do want to give it a name so that you can tell the controllers from the rest of the rig, and you want also to be able to select things by name. So some of the other variations you can do is if you simply duplicate what you have on screen and move it over, you can right click on the object and then go into component mode using a control vertex. And at that point you can select every other one of the control vertices like so, and make a very nice and different looking control by simply scaling these to get more of a diamond shape, square shape, or depending if you're looking from the side, you can drag them down and get kind of a crown or a splash look that can be seen from any angle so that it doesn't disappear as the perfectly straight one tends to do here in an orthographic view. So here's the duplicate. And this is the original circle, which we can't really see that well because it is more or less perfectly two-dimensional. Something else you can do is to come up here and create them by hand by going into the curve controls and go into the EP curve control here. Go into the options and click on the curve degree. Originally it would be here on 3 cubic, and that means that it needs, it's going to hit every point you make, but it is going to do so in kind of a curve, average curve way. However, if you come up here and you create the curves and switch to 1, which is linear, you now can click and it will draw a straight line between your points. Now, if you want to get more interesting shapes than just this simple square, which is a bit odd looking, you can read in Polygon Primitive like a cube and get rid of these others. And using this either in a, I prefer to bring it into a layer. By virtue of turning it not into a template, but clicking on this and turning it into a reference, you can go back into your curve tool, which, by the way, whenever you use a tool, it should show the icon here in Maya on the leftmost sort of bottom of the controls, or you can press Y and it will take you back to the last tool used. So when I press Y, it goes back to the last tool used, which is this curve EP tool set at 1. And if I hold down V, I will snap, as you can see up here, it's now in vertex snap. So I'm going to snap my drawn lines to this cube. And you're going to need to, of course, draw over some things to hit every single line, but that's really inconsequential because you are just drawing a line. So you're not creating more polygons or fewer polygons. You're just creating more or fewer lines, sections in your singular line. So bringing up the outliner, you can move your guide aside, and now you have a perfectly cubed constraint that you can squash or stretch using scale into something that can fit a, say, a hand control. Also, to color these different things, you need to bring up the attribute editor, and when you bring that up, you can come down to object display with this, with whatever you have selected. Go down to object display, and you should be able to click on drawing overrides, turn on enable overrides, and you can go here to the color and just slide this along to choose the wireframe color for this, like so. And this way you don't actually need to create a layer and then color the layer by coming up into the attribute editor for that object, going into object display, drawing overrides, turning on the overrides, and just either sliding this around. See, I've changed it already. Or you can come in and click on RGB, which is a value that you can dictate the same way that you choose any colors when you're doing shaders. So you have a great range of freedom of what you can color these particular objects. Frankly, I prefer just to have separate constraints for everything, but I've also saved a majority of my pre-made constraints for you on Blackboard under the name control_templates. And when you open that in Maya or drag it into Maya, you'll see a whole series of pre-done templates complete with their names here. And you can get rid of control template, or you can open it. I've colored all these things different colors, so you have cones that are all one curve. You have this sort of God controller with an arrow. You have other arrows. So this is sort of pre-done templates that you can simply utilize whenever you need to, even a 3D arrow. And you can copy these over and over and distribute them throughout your rig as needed. So there you go. There's a basic tutorial on how to create constraint shapes or controller shapes for your rig, and some pre-done ones to just let you hit the ground running. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you.